Hey there, Shawna Martinez with Performance Team, and today we're helping sellers figure out what's the biggest bang for your buck. So I meet with sellers all the time. I'm primarily a listing-based business. So my job is to meet with sellers every day, all day. I love it. I get to look at houses for a living. Hello. But one of the things we always discuss is I would rather you come in and have me come in prior to you doing any work on your house. And this is why, because a lot of times what people don't understand, because we're the ones working with the buyers, we know what they're looking for. We know what's important, what's not important. We also know what the value is going to be on that item if you do it on a seller standpoint. But sellers don't understand that. That's why you hire people like me who do know this stuff, because I'm going to save you a lot of time, money, and frustration. But more importantly, I'm going to save you money. But most importantly, money. It all comes down to dollars and cents, right? Everybody wants to net the most amount of money for their house, but they don't want to put the most amount of money into it because not everything gets a dollar for dollar return. What does that mean? You put a pool in your house. Newsflash, not getting that back. In fact, we're seeing about 10 to 15% return on a pool. So pools right now, they're super expensive. Why? Because they're in very high demand. Why? Because people want to be outdoors. And so they're putting pools in their backyards, which is great for the pool companies. One of my clients is a pool company. They're several months out before they can even talk to you about doing design to even start the process of building your pool in your backyard. I think even if you were to try to get a pool right now, you wouldn't even have it before the end of summer. That's how backed up they are, or even starting before then. So back to my original point is that you don't want to do anything to your home if you're trying to do it to sell it for the most amount of money. You need to talk to a licensed, serious agent first. We're going to come in. I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, do this. No, don't do that. And people are very surprised. And a lot of times they kind of look at me like, are you sure? And it's like, I'm 100% confident in the advice I give my clients. So what I've told people to do is just have me come in, take a look at it. Let's go over what you think you need to do. And then let me tell you how we can actually check a lot of that stuff off your list, because it's not going to matter. Biggest item that we have that people always want to do is they want to do landscaping. Now, here's the thing is landscaping, yes, curb appeal is important, but you can do things that don't cost a lot of money that give you a big return. You just want to make sure that everything's clean. So I work with this one client who owns a bunch of rental properties, and every time he goes to sell one of his rental properties, he learned the first time when he did it by himself, and he realized I knew what I was talking about. So what he does now is he calls me and says, hey, Shawna, I'm about to want to start renovating this house to get it ready for sale, and I would like for you to come over and tell me what I need to do. He's like, I don't touch it without your advice first, because he's a smart man. And so I go over there and I go through it with him. I say, yes, do this, this, and this. Don't do this. Yes, yes, yes. No, no. And he writes it down, and then he calls me a few weeks later and says, okay, we're about midway. I have a couple more questions. Come over here. And I do. And one of the biggest questions that always comes up is kitchens, bathrooms, and landscaping. And flooring. Flooring is always a big one. Landscaping on his, for some reason, all of his landscaping is always never very good because tenants live there and they don't really care. And so they don't really take care of the stuff. So we always rip it out completely, make it clean. We put the trim piece in, and then we put black mulch down. And if you want to add a little bit of pop and a little bang for your buck, put some potted plants out there with some pretty flowers or plants. Super simple. It shows great in pictures. And the black mulch just makes the whatever color the house is pop. And it always gives us a good return. And it probably costs him less than $100 to do that. So again, the most bang for your buck. So a couple other things I have for you is kitchens. So kitchens, you want to keep it as simple as possible. I know everybody's kind of tired of the white cabinets with the white subway tile, but people don't like busy. So the mosaic tiles, I did a video talking about what's in and what's out, what's trending and what's not. And the mosaic tiles, they're out, like really out, like take them out. Don't put them in your houses anymore. What people were doing was they were doing a backsplash, and like in the middle, they were doing this little piece that's like these little squares and putting them in their kitchen. And and half the time it didn't even match the countertops. It actually worked against it. And so it's like, keep it neutral. Why? Because people can come in and accent it with different colors when they want. It's easy to change out when trends change, because you know they do. And you don't have to redo a whole kitchen. So we're seeing gray cabinets. We're seeing white countertops, still the white, or marble-like countertops with a little bit of gray in them, but just nothing too busy. If you're going in somewhere and they're discounting it and there's every single color in the rainbow on that countertop, I don't care how much they're charging you for it. I don't care how much is discounted. Don't buy the countertop. Do not put that in a house, because you will repel most of the buyers out there. Because why? They're watching HDTV and they want white and bright because that's what they're seeing and that's what they want. give the people what they want. And the thing is that's usually the cheapest kind of stuff anyways. Subway tile is very inexpensive. And here's the thing, is if you do subway tile, so the number one countertop we do is like this level 1 granite, has grays and like a little bit of mauves in it. And we've been doing the white subway tile with gray grout. It looks like $1 million, but it costs very little. So again, I know these things, so just reach out to me and I'll save you a lot of time, a lot of headache, and a lot of money. The other thing is you want to declutter your house. So if you live in the house and you're going to sell it, this is a great time to purge. And let me tell you something, for somebody who suffers, or not suffers, but lives with anxiety like myself, I've been very open and honest about this on my social media. Nothing makes me feel better than when I go through stuff and I start cleaning stuff out. I go through my closet probably on a monthly basis and I purge stuff in my closet. Of course, I buy new stuff, but I purge stuff out of my closet and it makes me feel so good. There's something that I can't stand is when I walk in my house and there's stuff laying in places that it doesn't belong. Or we have stuff everywhere and it's like, where did you even come up with all this stuff? The less, the better. So if you can declutter, you're gonna need to move anyways. It's less for you to move. Just take care of that on the front side. The other thing is organization. So if you live in your house, organize the closets, organize your pantries, because here's the thing. I know this because we just went through this in our personal home that I'm standing in right now, is that we build the builders, which I'm convinced they're all men because no one bothers to do things that women need, like large pantries. They build these 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 square foot houses and they have these little pantries and it's like, why do you think I'm buying this house? It's so big. I have children and they like to eat and where am I gonna put the food? So we have a small pantry, so people need to see the space. So what we did was we bought all these organizations, thank you Home Edit, shout out. But we bought all these little organization baskets and we put everything in there and label them and everything. And it makes a smaller space look much bigger. But we also added a walk-in pantry in our house. But again, that'll be another video. But just organize the space that you have and keep it clean. It'll make a huge difference. Clean, and more clean. In fact, hire a company to clean. I actually have, I have one housekeeper that I really, really love. She would come to your house. She'll be there for like 5 or 6 hours. And you're like, oh man, she's still here? Yes, because she deep cleans. There's not one corner that is missed in your house. And let me tell you something, it makes a huge difference when you're going to sell your house. Backyard. So if you're going to put any money into your house, I know that we kind of talked about the biggest bang for your buck in a separate video. Backyards is where it's at. So raised garden beds, outdoor kitchens, fire pits. I can't say fire pits enough. They're just, it's like nothing feels like it brings a family together more than fire pits. I just automatically think iron deck chairs, s'more kits like we get at Marty B's. Shout out to Marty B's. I'm always shouting people out. I can't wait for one day people to shout me out in their videos. But Marty B's is right behind Lantana. Silas, he loves his s'more kit. And I just always think like how cool that would be to do that at our home with our kids. And so when I think about outdoor spaces, that's always on the top of the list. Outdoor fireplaces are great too, but sitting areas, like people just, again, they want to be outside. They don't want to be in their houses. It's nice. It doesn't matter how beautiful your home is. People love to be outdoors right now. And then neutral paint. So what's hard to sell, and a lot of people, this is a little bit, is better now because there's less inventory. So people are willing to accept things in a house where if it was not a seller's market, they would definitely mark it down or say it's going to cost a lot more than it actually costs to fix, but that's another story as well, is neutral paint. So I like it when the house is painted all one color or all in the same family of colors. I don't like walking into a house and it being like a red dining room, which is out by the way, but a red dining room, a green bedroom, a pink bedroom. Unless you're doing it and it's a designer room and you're doing like a feature wall or you're doing wallpaper and it's like something you saw out of a magazine, just neutral is always best. So again, like agreeable gray, repose gray, I think, bright white, those kinds of things, anything to brighten up the space, those are always gonna be the best bang for your buck.